Dear media representatives, on behalf of Asian Football Confederation, I'm delighted to welcome you to the press conference ahead of match between Australia and Korea Republic team for AFC Women's Asian Cup Australia 2026. It's my pleasure to welcome to this press conference head coach of Australia team Joy Montemurro and the player Stephanie Catley. Before passing the floor for your question, let me invite head coach and player to share their thoughts on upcoming match. Please, coach.
Yeah, first of all, apologies for the late arrival. We were in training mode, so we were great a little bit late. So apologies for that. Look, obviously exciting event tomorrow night. Game against two very good teams in a great environment, and that's what we play these tournaments for. So we're very looking forward to the game tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think it's been a good start to the tournament for us. Obviously, 2 wins, but I think going into this game, obviously, it's for the top of the group, so it's a nice challenge for us. And South Korea are a great team, so yeah, we're excited to get going.
Thank you. Now I'm passing the floor for your questions. Please, if you have some, please raise your hand. Microphone, please, here. Thank you.
Hi Joe, Erin from Code Sports. Are you able to give us an update on Hayley Raso at all? Obviously, for the bit we saw at training today, she was not participating.
Yeah, we're just following the medical protocols with a light concussion. So we just want to make sure it's something that's from my own personal perspective that we don't mess around with. So we just want to make sure that everything's right. But she's progressing really well. But we just want to follow the medical protocols, and she won't be available for tomorrow night's game.
Thank you, coach. Next question from you, please.
Hi Joe, Ben's from Channel 10. A good start to the tournament, obviously 2 wins. Is it fair to say, and Steph, you as well, do you have to go up a gear against South Korea tomorrow?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, I think tournaments are not won in the first game or the second game. They're won in progressing and building into the tournament. And we always knew that South Korea was going to be an important game for us, moving forward. But the work's been done in the last week and a half, and we believe that we're starting to find our rhythm and starting to find those connections and collaborations in the field that put us in a good position.
Thank you, coach. Next question from you, please.
Joe, George Clark from AAP. Can I just ask, we touched on it in the Gold Coast about kind of rotations and such like. Given what's at stake tomorrow night, and I guess you're going to then hopefully look forward to a deep run into the finals, when do you start to fine tune and really nail down your best 11?
Yeah, it's obviously a situation where we didn't have the opportunity pre-camp to work as a unit. But look, obviously, I've always said that game for game and scenario for scenario is very, very important. That's why you've got 26 players and all 26, contributing in certain ways. And look, obviously tomorrow we'll put out a team that we believe is the one that's is going to give us the opportunities to win the match. But again, it's a tournament that needs all elements of players ready. Whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's so important because there are a lot of good match winners that can come on and change the game. So the starting 11 is important, but also how we progress during the match and how we make the changes accordingly is also vitally important.
Thank you. Next question from you, please.
Hi, Joe, Vince Rigari, Sydney Morning Herald. How are you going? What did you think of the first rollout of the front three with Caitlin, Sam, and Mary? And Matildas fans have been waiting a long time to see that sort of setup. Were you pleased with how that went, and how much room for growth is there with those 3 players, such intelligent attacking players, if that is your third combination?
Yeah, well, it's an exciting trio. Going forward, obviously, but also their compactness, even when we lose the ball, and their ability to understand how we win the ball back is also important, because that ability for to win the ball and then to re-go again is crucial, and they've got all those qualities to do that. I think like everything, it's now about game rhythm. It's about them playing together. It's about them finding those little bits of combinations with the with obviously the fullbacks that advance and the midfielders that advance in those areas there. But I think it's just going to be now games. Just now, the more they play together, the more they're combining together, the more they're they're connecting. I think we'll see a world-class top three.
Thank you, Coach. Next question from you, please.
Hi, Kim Fai from the AFC. Question for Steph. 4 years ago, obviously, you were captain of the same game between Australia and Korea, in which you lost. How much is that still something that you want to get right this time around, and would that be providing extra motivation for you?
Yeah, definitely. That was a big moment for us as a team. I think we learned a lot from that game in particular and that tournament. It was challenging conditions over there, and I think we struggled most of the tournament, but that game in particular, we were quite wasteful from memory and didn't finish our chances. And against a team like Korea, they take advantage of theirs and then the game's over. So we've definitely learned from that moment and been holding on to it, and we want to make sure we do everything we can to not feel that again.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi both, Amanda Shalala, ABC Sport. Steph, for you, there was a lot of talk leading into this tournament about pressure, expectations. You've got the 2 wins from 2, but this is the biggest game of the group stage now. So how are you handling it from that side of things as this pressure and expectation goes to another level now?
Yeah, for sure. I think the first 2 games have been good in a sense that we've been able to work into the tournament a little bit, and sometimes it's hard to hit the ground running when you haven't played together for a while and you've all been in different clubs playing different philosophies, over in different countries. It can be pretty difficult. So the fact that we've had, a couple of weeks to train now, to play together, to get used to combinations again, I think is really, really helpful. But obviously this is sort of now the pinnacle of the group stage, and tomorrow's a must win for us.
Thank you. Question, please, from you.
Joe, David Mark from the ABC. I've got a couple of questions, but first of all, a quick update on Hayley Raso. You say she's in concussion protocols. Is that ruling her out for the tournament?
No. We're just following the 7-day protocol at the moment, and we'll assess it after 7 days from there, and then make some decisions from there. But all signs were really positive. She's a lot better, and we're just doing it more as a precaution. I think it's really, really important, but she's not out for the tournament.
Okay. And just following up on the last question, I mean, obviously you've coached in a lot of really big games, but this is the biggest game so far for you as the Matildas coach. If I could just ask you to take a step back and assess that, what does this mean to you to be able to coach in these sorts of games in front of a huge crowd at Stadium Australia?
Well, when I think of those questions, I think about when I was an up-and-coming coach and, trying to make my way in the lower leagues in Victoria, and think, what an amazing opportunity to be at this level. What an amazing opportunity to be, the head coach of this great team, and to be in these occasions. So, I love game day. Game day is the best day for me. I smile the most. I think it's the most exciting, and I look to enjoy the most out of the game. For some reason, I don't feel a lot of pressure in these games. I don't feel it. I feel that just being focused on making sure that I'm there to help the players when the occasion comes. But I'm gonna cherish the moment as in the role that I'm in, and just love every moment of it.
Thank you, Coach. Next question from you.
Yeah. One for each of you. Steph, can you reflect a little bit on, I guess, how far the squad has come in the 4 years since the quarterfinal against South Korea? Like, is it better, deeper, and in what ways do you think? And Joe, can you talk a little bit about how advantageous the path for finishing top would be for the team in a tournament situation? I think that means you don't have to travel anymore. Like, how beneficial would that be?
Sure. I would say the squad's in a very, very good place right now. I think, majority of the players are overseas challenging themselves in the top leagues around the world. And I think you can see that every time you come back into a camp and at training, the level's very, very high, and every player that steps foot onto the field is ready to go and ready to play at international level. And I think that's something potentially that we've missed in the past. And maybe the last time we played this tournament, we maybe didn't have that depth as much as we do now. So I think in terms of rotations, in terms of going deep into tournaments, that's always something that we've looked for as a team. And I think now is probably the best I've seen the squad. I think we've got incredible young players coming through that when I look at them, I don't look at them and think, oh, they're too young. They've been around for a while. They've got steady heads on their shoulders and are really, really good footballers. So I think we're in a very good place.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi Steph, I'm Abby from Hobo Sports Media here. Just away from the game, I guess. Tomorrow's going to be International Women's Day, and the Matildas have really been trailblazers for speaking up for women with equal rights and equal pay. But just about walking into that stadium tomorrow, like how will it feel knowing that all of those women and girls can see what's possible because of how you fought?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I think, I've been in this team a long, long time, and my career has sort of gone along with women's football and the rise of women's football in a sense. When I first started playing, we were playing in front of family and friends and one or two people that were interested in what was going on. But now we, sell out stadiums. We're playing in front of, 50, 60,000 people quite regularly. And there's genuine interest in what we're doing. And I think, a lot of women in the Matildas came before us, but I think as well the group that's here today and that's been around for a while have really pushed the boundaries and are very proud of the work that we've put in to get to where we are today. It hasn't been easy, and there's lots of growth and room for growth still, but the fact that we are where we're at right now is really incredible, and we're definitely proud of it.
Thank you.
Joe, did you want to answer? I think it was about the advantageousness of finishing top on the path, and then I'll ask after you.
Oh, yeah. That's right now. I suppose the travel is the big one because it's such a tight tournament as it is. I mean, having just one sort of pre-match training session today leading into tomorrow's game, it's very tight. So I think obviously the advantage of the travel, but look, whatever, we're in the quarterfinals. That's the most important thing. That was the first tick to get there, and whatever comes our way, we'll cherish it and take it and be prepared for it.
And the first goal, Alana's second goal from a set piece. I think when you were appointed coach, you got a specific set piece coach. A lot of people from the outside think it just teams boot in and see what happens. But can you tell me about the amount of detail that goes into it? And I guess the deeper you go into the tournament and how tight the games will be, how much of an advantage that is to have nailed down those things.
Yeah, look, the reality is in a tournament and especially a tournament where you've only got 6 games, especially one of the games will be resolved by a set piece. Okay, whether it's a direct set piece or a second phase set piece, that's actually statistically what the data is showing from that perspective. So, and nowadays we're seeing all the top teams in the world, having that little bit of an advantage with set plays and so on, because they are so important, because they are an important part of the game. But integrating it in the way we want to play, that's the most important thing. So it's really important that the players understand what it is, but also we train well for it. That's the most important thing. And as I said, we've really had a little bit of an advantage on that, and hopefully it'll help us going forward in the tournament.
Thank you, Coach. Please.
Steph, when we show the highlights, it's always the goals, right, and the attacking, but 2 clean sheets so far. Are you steeling yourself as a defence for a much busier night tomorrow, potentially?
Yeah, I think, like it's been mentioned before, it's natural that there's going to be a step up in intensity now, and that means that we will be called upon probably more as a back line and as a defensive unit. But I think defending starts from the front. That starts from our press and organising ourselves from the front and, forcing the game to go in a certain direction that means we can control it. So I think we've had some good moments in practicing that, but I think it will be probably a much more active game against South Korea from what we've watched from the footage so far and how they've been playing. They're a great team. They're very creative. They're good on the ball. They're skillful. So I think it'll be a great game.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi both, Sam Lewis for The Guardian. Steph, as was mentioned, tomorrow is International Women's Day. Coming into this Asian Cup, there have been a number of nations who have been battling for equal rights, including South Korea, who had quite a significant battle against their own federation for support and resources equivalent to their men's team. The Matildas are quite privileged in having equal pay with the Socceroos, in having access to a lot of resources. As someone who is within that environment now and has seen the kinds of battles and struggles that these other nations are going through, what do you hope is the legacy of this tournament in terms of gender equality, human rights, and what these federations can do to support their women footballers going forward?
Yeah, I think on the back of the World Cup as well, I think that tournament in itself showed the power of women's football. I think it brings so many people together and it puts women on a platform that we've not always been on. It puts female leaders into rooms and gives them a voice, and it shows young girls what's possible. And I think it's the same with this tournament. In the nations that don't have the privileges that we haven't always had that either. It's been a fight and it's been a scrap at times, and it does drain you, and you don't want anyone to have to be going through that for just basic simple rights as a footballer, whereas access to change rooms or a pitch that's not got holes in it or whatever it is. It's the basic foundations for being a footballer, and I think as females we shouldn't have to fight for those basic standards, but the reality is that there is still nations that are. And I think this platform just shows how incredible women's football is, and hopefully that's enough eventually for these nations to take notice and to give their teams, the basic standards of what they need to go out and perform.
Thank you. Questions? Please, last question from you. This.
Hi, Joe. Could you just provide us an update on Cara Cross? We saw she's back in training today. How is she going? Could we expect to see her tomorrow?
Yeah, she'll be in the spot tomorrow. She'll be on the list, and all going well. We'll try to integrate her in the right way. But Kara's smiling and back in the squad, and we're all happy to see her back.
Dear,
Could I ask Steph? A lot of people online have sort of done the math that if you guys sort of draw, you're going to be playing North Korea or China, and if you win, you might face Japan in the semis. And obviously, there's a lot of ifs in those statements. But is that math that you guys do when you're sitting in the hotel at all?
To be honest, not really. I think it's obvious that tournaments go either direction, and they throw so much at you every single day. It's keeping squads healthy. It's getting from one match to the next. So I think the worst thing you can do is think too far ahead, because then you take your eyes off what actually matters, and that's winning the game that's right in front of you. So, you definitely see the directions, but you let yourself sort of see it and then focus back on in the moment. And that for us is South Korea tomorrow.
Thank you. Time is up. Time is up. Yes. Time is up, dear media. Okay. One more.
Thank you.
Let's come all the way from. What do you do?
Last question.
It was a difficult drive though, so thanks, Joe. No, I just wanted to see if we could get an update on Mackenzie Arnold. Is she likely to play? Has she come good? What's the latest?
Decision tonight, yeah, but she's training well. Everything's under control, and she's in a good place. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Kind reminder that the match between Australia and Korea Republic team will be kicking off tomorrow at Stadium Australia at 8 p.m. Head coach and player, all the best for upcoming game.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.